Hi, welcome to ThinkTech Asia, coming to you from Pioneer Plaza at downtown Honolulu. I'm your host, Hong Jiang, Associate Professor of Geography at University of Hawaii at Manoa. And our topic today is about Hawaiian Legacy Hardwoods, looking at how the corporation is working to bring back Hawaii's native forests. So my guest today is Mr. Randall Mau, Director for Corporate and Environmental Development at Hawaiian Legacy Hardwoods. Really great to have you, Randy.
Thank you for having me here.
We are talking about environmental issues, and we often put corporation at the opposite end of the environment. But can corporates become part of the solution to Hawaii's environmental problem? So today, Randall Mau offers an excellent example of such effort through the work of Hawaiian Legacy Hardwoods, which has a mission of bringing back Hawaii's native forests and restoring its ecosystems. And it is a great effort, and I look forward to learning more about it. Okay, so maybe Randy, you can start telling us about the corporation here, the Hawaiian Legacy Hardwoods. What kind of corporation it is? When did it get started?
Sure. The corporation, Hawaiian Legacy Hardwoods, which is known also as HLH, was a business plan in the making for about 12 to 14 years. And the owners, Jeff Dunster and Darryl Fox, came together brilliantly and formed this corporation about 4.5 years ago to date. What they believed in and their mission was doing something right, doing something good, and doing well at it. So this is their idea. What they wanted to do was they wanted to bring back Hawaii's most revered and prized hardwoods, which are the koa trees. What they're saying is that deforestation is a big problem, and worldwide, it's only 1% of the trees are being reforested back. Mm-hmm. So they saw a great opportunity of bringing back these most prized and revered hardwoods, the koa trees, back to Hawaii, as well as providing an environmental solution. So what they're doing is creating a whole balanced ecosystem. So it's these rainforests, these trees are sequestering carbon dioxide from the environment. It's bringing waters down to our underground aquifers, and it's also creating the habitats and bringing back our native and indigenous wildlife. Mm-hmm. So it's a win-win all around, mm-hmm. and they saw this to be a great opportunity, a great time, with a lot of the emphasis and focus and concerns on global warming and environmental issues and our sustaining Hawaii and the planet.
Let's come back from the beginning in terms of the koa wood.
Okay.
In addition to koa wood, I understand your corporation also deals with the sandalwood.
That's correct. And probably down the line in the program, you're going to be showing some photos mm-hmm. of our property. 1,100 acres. Of that, we are to date planted 250,000 koa trees in a matter of a little over 4 years, and about 4,000 sandalwood trees. Mm-hmm. So we just launched, in fact, the sandalwood tree planting Chinese New Year. Mm-hmm. And to date, we now have 4,000 sandalwood trees. We're also going to be putting in mamani and also ohia mm-hmm. and other native Hawaii species.
Tell us a little bit about the history of the deforestation mm-hmm. Of koa tree and sandalwood tree, just to give our viewers more of a background.
Right, okay. Let me bring your attention to the area that we're currently at. We're on the Big Island, and it's about 40 minutes out from the Hilo Airport. Mm-hmm. It's in the Honokaha-Hamakua coastline, 4,500 feet up. And this was once King Kamehameha's first most glorious koa forest. Mm. So we know that the koa forest thrived. We have mother trees that are currently on the property that we get the seedlings from, and then we germinate and we propagate through a nursery. But we wanted to bring back, or the owners wanted to bring back the koa trees. Sandalwood trees, I think everyone that knows about the history of Hawaii do know that the islands were once called Sandalwood Island.
That's still what Chinese call, even Honolulu. They call it in Chinese Tanxiangshan, which means the mountains of the fragrant sandalwood. Yeah.
And to that point, Hong, the owners will not harvest the sandalwood trees. The trees are going to be planted and they're going to be in perpetuity, never be cut, but they're going to be taking the sandalwood nut and they're going to be using that and promoting that. But with the sandalwood island, the Chinese had migrated over and they saw the value of these woods, and this is where they came and harvested and took back the woods to China. So the value of these woods were well recognized worldwide, and thus a depletion and a very poor supply of the sandalwood trees, just like the koa.
So in terms of bring back the koa and the sandalwood, are these all planted on the Big Island?
Yes. Well, our operations is, but we are working with other organizations such as the Waimea Valley's Falls Park. We have been in early discussions on their mission of wanting to as well reforest with koa in their valleys. Mm-hmm. So we've actually gone and rode with them. They took us through a tour to their valleys, and we saw where we would be able to assist in the reforesting of koa trees with them. We've been in discussions with OHA as well and other private landowners, and we could take actually the business model mm-hmm. and go global. Mm-hmm. So as an example, Hong, you might have private lands in, say, Indonesia. Mm-hmm. Your native trees might be, say, teak or mm-hmm. what have you. So we could take our whole business model and start an operations there as well.
We're going to definitely explore this throughout this show, especially toward the end. And we're going to learn about your business mm-hmm. model in terms of how to integrate environmental restoration, planting of trees with business, with actually making a profit.
Yes.
That hopefully help to make it sustainable.
Right.
But you talk about the Hawaiian Legacy Hardwoods as a B corporation.
Yes.
Can you explain that a little?
Okay. Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, and I know there's going to be a conference on B corporations coming up shortly. I think is the 28th of May. But a B corporation is a benefits corporation, so it's neither a true C corp nor a nonprofit. It's like a hybrid corporation. B corporation stands for benefits corporation, triple bottom line organization that's not only profitable, but also brings solutions to the community as well as the environment. And there's only one, Hawaiian Legacy Hardwoods, or HLH, is one out of now 1,000 B corporations in the world. And it was just recognized, I think, about 2 or 3 weeks ago as one of the top 87 in the world.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a great
mm-hmm.
achievement. Yeah. Wonderful. So we're going to spend this next 40 minutes exploring more of your business model here. We're going to take a short break here. This is ThinkTech Asia streaming live. I'm your host, Hong Jiang, and we've been discussing with Mr. Randall Mau about the effort of Hawaiian Legacy Hardwoods in terms of bringing back the native forests. We will be right back.
Hi, my name is Dr. Rafi. Every week, I'm right here at ThinkTech Hawaii, 3 p.m. on Mondays. My show is Boards' Bio Briefings. What do we do here? Well, we watch sperm swim. We see if they catch anybody. We check out the latest biosimilars. You know, the kind that, what was his name? The guy with the bicycle? I guess we forgot his name, but he was taking EPO and other human growth factors. We'll be talking about human growth factors. You want to know where to get some? Maybe I'll tell. Anyway, you can catch me, as I said, every week right here, Monday, 3 p.m., ThinkTech Hawaii, Dr. Rafi. You can also find me on Twitter, BioInfoMedical. Or you can catch me on Facebook, Dr. Rafael Boritzer. I'll be happy to converse with you. Aloha.
Hello, we're back. We're live. This is ThinkTech Asia, and I'm your host, Hong Jiang. We'll be speaking with Mr. Randall Mau about Hawaiian Legacy Hardwoods and their effort to bring back Hawaii's native forests. So right before the break, you were talking about Hawaiian Legacy Hardwoods as a benefit B business model that brings different triple benefits to the community. Can you explain a little bit about the triple benefits? Clearly, the environmental benefits is clear.
Okay. And again, B Corporation stands for Benefits Corporation, and it's a triple bottom line organization. So B as in benefits. Company is not only profitable, which many companies are, they're profitable. Many bring solutions to the community. I mean, just as an example, maybe a carpet cleaner, they bring service of cleaning carpets to the community. But lastly, can the carpet cleaner or the carpet cleaning company also establish itself as being an environmental solution? What kind of solution environmentally do they bring? With Hawaiian Legacy Hardwoods, as I mentioned to you earlier, it's creating a whole balanced ecosystem. So with HLH, it's profitable. It's bringing solutions to the environment by creating a whole balanced ecosystem, and I explained about that, about the sequestration of carbon dioxide, water aquifers, and also the habitats for the wildlife. And then lastly is, bringing benefits to the community. What we're doing is sustaining Hawaii and the planet with timber and lumber, the Koa. So we have an investment model whereby we will be sustaining these Hawaiian woodworkers and the rest of the world with Koa timber and lumber. And what they're saying is that, by the year 2023, these tropical hardwoods such as Koa, the United Nations was saying that, if not, they will all be harvested, if not protected, by 2023, the remaining hardwoods currently at this time. So this is where we are also protecting it by putting in trees into the ground and not harvesting as well. So we have a business model whereby of 1,100 acres, 75% of these acres are core trees that are not going to be cut down, not going to be harvested. It's the 25% of the piece of this 1,100 acres that will be harvested, and that is a sustainable Koa timber program that we are offering. The investment program that we are offering.
Maybe this is a good time to bring up the video. The control room, can you start the video?
Hawaii is a unique ecosystem and is known as the endangered species capital of the world. One of the reasons this is true is that Hawaii is the most isolated landmass on Earth and has evolved many species unique to these islands. Hawaii is renowned for its microclimates. We have a tremendous range of rainfall, elevation, and soil types, all within a short drive from each other. With these issues in mind, it is our goal to re-establish the ecosystem by replanting many of the native species that were once found on this land. One of the species we will concentrate on is Acacia Koa. Due to its exceptional beauty, it is one of the most sought after of the tropical woods. This native tree only grows in Hawaii and was once reserved exclusively for Hawaiian royalty and is often referred to as the king of the forest. Koa trees reach heights of 100 feet or more and diameters of up to 4 feet. This magnificent koa tree stands alone in a field that was once a vast koa forest. It was probably no more than a seedling when this field was cleared many years ago. It stands as an example of what can once again blanket this vacant cloud forest. Acacia Koa is so variable in its appearance as to defy classification. It can be everything from red to brown to golden and even ivory. The grain can be straight, but the most valuable koa exhibits a curly figure that creates the illusion that you are looking right through it. It finishes to a rich luster and depth, making it a treasured resource for Hawaii's furniture makers. Its exceptional value as a tone wood has also brought it to the attention of musical instrument makers worldwide. When it comes to tropical hardwoods, koa is the most magnificent. Mature trees have very little sapwood and primarily consist of high-value heartwood. The growth rate of trees and the market value of lumber are both influenced by a wide array of factors. The future value of lumber from trees planted today can be estimated by extrapolating historical trends. Knowledge is growing rapidly about koa's behavior as a plantation tree. Early indications are that it will perform at least as well as teak. Even though tree growth can vary between species and location, for the purposes of this analysis, we will use the growth rate for teak, since it has the longest history of cultivation. Due to koa's tremendous diversity in appearance, its retail price can range from $20 to $65 a board foot. For purposes of our calculations, we are using an extremely conservative starting price for wholesale koa set at $6 per board foot. We are also assuming a conservative annual increase in tropical lumber prices of 6%. Historically, the rate of increase has been closer to 13% for tropical hardwood lumber. We have applied the same rate of increase to the estimated cost of milling, harvesting, and processing as well. As the chart shows, the harvested trees in years 1 through 7 are for culling and generate no marketable lumber. At approximately year 8, the investor will see returns from the first marketable thinning harvest. Roughly 1/3 of the trees will be removed to make room for the remaining trees and maximize their growth potential. This thinning harvest will generate net proceeds to the tree owner of approximately $9,646. At approximately year 13, roughly 10% of the original trees will be removed to make room for the remaining trees. This practice of periodic thinning is referred to as releasing the trees. This proven practice produces more marketable lumber than leaving all the trees until final harvest. This thinning harvest will generate an estimated $12,117 in net proceeds to the tree owner. At approximately year 17, another 10% of the trees will be removed. This harvest will generate net proceeds to the tree owner, estimated at $29,808. The final harvest of mature trees occurs in 2 phases. Phase 1 occurs at approximately year 21. At this time, we will remove about half of the remaining trees with net proceeds to the tree owner estimated at $109,593. The second phase of the final harvest of mature trees is predicted to occur in year 25. This final harvest should yield another $121,782 in net proceeds to the tree owner. Over the entire life of this project, the tree owner.
So this video shows clearly the benefit, financial benefit of planting the koa trees. I know those data can be a little bit kind of overwhelming. Maybe you can summarize the benefit model over here.
Sure. Okay. So what you actually saw was our koa projection table. And in fact, if you can keep in mind that many individuals have invested in this koa investment program, you can also dedicate your IRA. You can set up your self-directed IRA, and there's a company here in Hawaii, as well as others on the mainland. The one here is called New Directions IRA. And New Directions will set up this self-directed IRA account for you. the IRA will then be able to purchase this one unit of 100 koa trees. So actually what you saw on the projection table was, say on the from first to eighth year, the trees are not being harvested. They're just being cared for and growing. In about three years, 6 months, we have growth rates of about almost 40 feet tall. So you can see that where we are, it's very fertile for these koa trees, and we get about between 60 and 80 inches of rain a year, so it's very, very wet. So on the 8th year, when they do the first cut and harvest, we call this releasing the trees or culling. What we do is we plant the trees 10 foot on center, so that way they're growing straight up, reaching for the sun. Through the years, we start to select out. And our scientist, Darryl Fox, on the property, makes the selections on which trees are going to be harvested. And we're going to be harvesting on the 8th year, about 37 trees. And you saw by the projection table, the harvested net profit was about $9,546.
So the investment, initially the investment is $10,000, right?
Currently, the investment is $10,248. When we first opened up 4 years ago, it started off at about $6,646, somewhere around there. The price increases 3% every 3 months. It has been historically, and that's pretty much the projection moving forward. So you can almost look at an annual increase of your unit of 100 koa trees to be about 12% a year.
The increase in investment has to do with the tree growing larger. Is that how?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, you take like palms, you take like orchids. When they start off, they're really not valuable. But through the years, as they grow, like the koa trees, the timber and lumber, the trees, the girth increases. The trees get, wider in girth. And the timber and lumber becomes even that much more valuable.
Okay.
So that's an interesting point that you make. We had a commodities broker that called us and wanted to purchase X amount of units of trees. I think it was about 30. And so the owner says, well, you're in commodities. You do gold, silver, titanium, what have you. And he says, well, why are you investing in trees or koa trees? And he says, well, trees grow. And and that's something that is so true. It has no reflection to what the stock market is doing, oil prices. Trees just naturally grow, and your natural resources or your commodity, your resources are becoming ever more valuable as the years go on.
So the accumulated benefit after 25 years, how much is that? 200 some?
Yes, okay, so real quickly, if I might just summarize. So on the 8th year, we're going to do our first harvest. We'll take down about 37 trees. On the 13th year, we'll take down another 10 trees. You'll get another projected return of about $12,000 on the 13th year. I'm sorry, on the 17th year, we'll take down another 10 trees. You'll get another projected return of about $30,000.
Yeah.
On the 17th year, we'll take down another 10 trees. You get another, I'm sorry, that was the 17th year, you get another 10 trees that we'll be taking down. You get a projected check of about $30,000. On the 21st year, it gets really significant. We'll be taking down about 17 trees and a projected net return of about $110,000. And then the 25th year is the last year of the term. And that's where we're going to be taking the remaining trees, somewhere around 11 trees, and that's going to be another projected return of about $123,000 for a cumulative total amount of about $285,519, somewhere around there. Again, these are all projections.
Yeah, so I guess a couple questions. For somebody who is interested in investing, they might look and see, well, you tell me the projection.
Right.
How likely, what kind of uncertainty there is? Because, of course, the trees are going to grow. That side, there's more certain.
Yes.
But what about the market? Is the market going to hold? Is the price going to hold? And is there insurance involved in here?
Very good question, Hong. First off, China at this time is taking over 50% of all the timber and lumber. And the more they become more affluent, the consumption is going to be even greater.
You're talking about China is taking Hawaii's koa?
They're taking the tropical hardwoods all over the world.
Okay.
And in fact, they are consuming at this time over 50% of the timber and lumber at this stage, okay? But at first, what we want to do is care for the people of Hawaii, the woodworkers, the Hawaii woodworkers. Because when we first started off with this project, we were just doing a reforestation to put trees in and not to be harvested or cut. But then these organizations, nonprofits included, were saying, well, what about our woodworkers? How are we going to sustain our woods for the furnitures, for accessories, and so on? That's when we carved out 25% of our 1,100 acres and started to do sustainable timber and lumber as an investment program. So the demand is certainly there. I mean, if you see Martin MacArthur, they've moved from, I think it was 6 stores about maybe 3 years ago to about 11 stores now because of the demand of these goods. And all these various accessories like the ring I'm wearing, the pens, even iPad holders made out of koa. Everything there is koa.
Koa is definitely beautiful.
Cabinets, flooring, and so on. But more than that, if you were to go to a place like Woodcraft, you will see that the koa pricing is already beyond what the owner used as a base for the projections. He used the $6 to $9 a board foot for the projections. If you go to Woodcraft today, you'll see that koa goes for about $28 to about $40 a board foot. So he was very conservative in his projection and estimates as well.
Okay, let's assume that the price and the market will hold. Will private, owners be able to use the same kind of idea to plant koa on their land and be able to benefit like this?
Absolutely, and that's where I shared a little about us being able to go global as well with our hybrid and our IP, of course, and our business model. Private land owners here have been speaking with us, as I mentioned to you about even Waimea Valley. OHA has been in discussions with us as well. We understand, and I went to the legislature, I'd say about 2 months ago, where the senators were proposing a bill that would allow them to take our business model and conduct the operations of what we're doing and bringing those returns or the funds into their Kekitu Kapuna Trust Fund. So they were looking at doing purchasing a koa tree for $60, $20. Of that $60, $20 will go to their Kekitu Kapuna Trust Fund. So that is that 75% piece that I spoke to you about on the nonprofit, the corporation side.
Yeah, we're going to explore that side. So what we're talking about, the koa tree, is on the 25% side.
Yes.
That are the trees that are cut to make a profit.
That's correct.
And then there's that 75% side.
Correct.
That's trees not cut. So let's stay with 25% over here in terms of koa tree. The benefit of working with you, let's say if somebody has the land and wanted to plant trees, can their trees grow as well as your trees? Are your trees going to grow better because you have a scientific methods or scientists involved? What's the difference there?
That's a very good question, Hong. In answer to that, first off, we have to look at it this way. There is a great demand for the koa tree timber and lumber. There's a shorter supply of the koa tree lumber because you can't cut koa trees if you don't grow them or if it's not on your private property. So if it's on the state lands, it's illegal to be deforesting or cutting that timber and lumber. The koa grows, and our scientist, Darryl Fox, Dr. Fox, he puts it very succinct and very clearly that he says, with koa, anything that grows beyond 2,000 sea feet level, is a business. Anything below 2,000 feet level is an experiment. So what happens is that at lower elevations, the koa tree may not have, may be susceptible to more risks, like disease, like pests.
Okay.
And that's the reason why our property, where we are growing these trees, again, was once King Kamehameha's most glorious koa forest, is in what they call the koa belt.
It's a 2,000 foot higher than 2,000 foot.
Yes, it's about 4,500 feet level.
I see.
Sea feet level above,
okay.
right?
That's interesting. Well, clearly, you have the environmental benefit, the niche there.
Absolutely.
That is better than other locations.
And in this area too, there's lichen, which really represents that the air is very pure. As mentioned, we get 60 to 80 inches of rain a year, so it's very wet.
Okay.
And it's quite cool up there, but beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful area.
Wow. So we're going to take another short break. We'll come back and continue to explore this model. This is ThinkTech Asia. We've been talking with Mr. Randall Mau about the effort made by Hawaiian Legacy Hardwoods to restore Hawaii's native trees. We'll be right back after this short break.
I'm Jay Fidel. That's Sharon Moriwaki of the Hawaii Energy Policy Forum. And every Wednesday we have Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy. We've been doing it for some time now, and we have some fantastic guests on there, unbelievable guests who give us insight into what is going on in a very complex, sometimes very confusing, sometimes very disappointing area of progress in the state. So we love doing this. We love meeting them. We love talking to them. We love having their ideas out on the table. So maybe, just maybe, we can all make some sense of what's going on. Sharon, what do you think?
I think that's absolutely correct. We enjoy ourselves meeting with all these people and hearing about the energy and the state of clean energy, and hopefully we advance clean energy for the state. So it's terrific. Join us.
Okay, it's every Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday is Energy Day. Every Wednesday, 4 to 5 p.m. Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, here on ThinkTech Hawaii. We'll see you there. I'm Jake.
Hi, we're back. We're live, coming to you from ThinkTech Asia. And this is your host, Hong Jiang. And I'll be speaking with Randall Mau from Hawaiian Legacy Hardwoods about their effort to bring back the trees. The koa tree was what we were talking about. Can we, the control room, can we bring up the first photo? So this photo over here, Randy, can you explain what is this photo?
Okay. This is a shot, and you can see in the background this little, I should say it's little from this view, but when you're there, it is our mother tree, one of the trees that we use in all of our collateral materials, if you can see here. It's part of the 1,100 acres, and that shot was about 4.5 years ago to date.
Next photo, please.
Okay, so this photo shows now that we've planted in. This was about 4 years. I'm sorry. This is about 4 years after that first photo that you saw. We have now placed in, at this point in time, about 200,000 koa trees, and that's the same photo shot. If you can see the mother tree in the far background, you can see now. And it's so magical when you're up there. You could see that you are truly building a forest, and that's really what captivated me. So to date, we have now put into the ground about 250,000 koa trees and about 4,000 sandalwood trees.
Next photo, please.
So this is a photo of one of our about a 25-year-old tree, and you can see the beautiful curls, and this is on our property. The girth is probably not more than about 4 feet, about 3 feet, 3.5 feet wide. But you can see the beauty of these trees. So the trees don't have to be extremely wide, and it's based on the genetics of the trees as well.
So we can go through the next 3 photos. You can see the beautiful product coming made of the koa wood.
Yeah, and this is...
Next one, please. Next photo. And next photo, yeah. So you can really see the texture of the tree. So 250,000 koa trees, how many are sold now?
Well, we're not going to be harvesting for another 3.5 years. The people that came in about 4.5 years ago, and I think, as I mentioned, somewhere around the $6,600 range of their one unit of 100 koa trees, in about 3.5 years, they will realize the first net proceeds of their 8-year harvest.
So are all 250,000 trees sold, owned?
Yes.
Oh, they are. Okay.
They are owned, put in by either investors or corporations or individual purchasers.
I see, I see.
Right.
Let's look at the other 75%. So the model that you have is 75% of the planted trees are not going to be harvested. And who are helping to sustain those trees?
Okay. Well, we have our staff and our scientists that actually reside on the property. We have about 14 homes or cottages on this property that we call the village, with a visitor center as well. And we have eco tours, as I showed these vehicles to you earlier, Hong. How they're being cared for is by the same people that are caring for our investment piece.
So the investment side, do you have some benefit going to the investor, and you keep some to be able to maintain the remaining of the whole forest? Is that how it works?
Okay.
Or do you get donations from corporates?
Okay, very good question. Okay, if I might kind of clarify on something first. What we do, and this is part of the IP of the corporation or the company, is that they GPS, RFID, radio frequency identification tag, each of the trees. Okay, so each tree is GPS.
Okay.
So you could follow it on the computer.
So if I buy 100 trees, I can actually follow on the computer and see which is my tree.
Yeah, so when you buy 100 of the trees, as you can see, you will get a certificate with 100 of our RFID codes. And you would go onto the computer and you would put that code in, and it will give you the history of your tree.
Okay.
You can use such applications such as Google Earth, as well as, and you can home in and follow the development of your tree as well.
Okay.
So I wanted to make that clear, because on the investment side, each of your trees will be tagged and ID'd. So when it's going through the harvest process and it's getting milled, they'll know exactly how much board foot is attached to that particular tree, and what is the price per board foot.
Oh, okay, okay.
And then now on the other side, which is the 75% piece that you're talking about, where corporations get involved. As an example, I have some of these cards, brochures that we make for our nonprofit organizations that want to partner in with us. They partner in with us because through them, they may have events, they may put us on their website. When people are going to their website or to their events purchasing koa trees, and they might be purchasing a koa tree and they might be gifting it to you, Hong, and saying, Hong, this is a gift of a koa legacy tree in memory of your grandmother, who you shared many memories, a lifetime of memories. May the gift of this koa legacy tree live on forever, like the memories you shared with her. $20 of that $60 will go right back to the nonprofit organization. So we'll give back 33% of the revenues we take in and give it back to the nonprofit organization that has become a partner.
Oh, okay.
So that's the nonprofit side. And we brought in people, organizations like St. Louis High School, American Diabetes Association, Hawaii Bone Marrow Association, Variety Schools, Partners in Development, on and on. On the corporation side, we brought on people like ESPN, 1420. So you say, well, how is it a for-profit corporation would be involved in this? Well, when they have their events, when people are purchasing koa trees through them, again, we give them back $20 or 33% of the revenues we take in. $1 goes to Hawaiian Island Land Trust, which is a nonprofit that is preserving and sustaining, conserving the lands. But ESPN 1420 will donate their proceeds to Hawaii High School Sports Athletic Association, all the kids of the high school. So a for-profit organization can also partner in with us this way as well.
So in other words, non-for-profit or for-profit organizations can buy the koa trees and gift it to somebody as part of their donation, basically.
They could buy it themselves, like what Four Seasons might do, or Aston Hotels. When you purchase a certain room package, they will honor you with the Koa Legacy tree and the certificate.
I see,
okay.
I see, okay.
Or the organization, as I mentioned, like ESPN 1420, when they're doing their events and people are just purchasing koa trees through them,
I see.
again, $20 or that 33% will go to ESPN 1420, that they are donating it to the Hawaii High School Sports Athletic Association, so the kids of the high school sport organization.
I see. But all of these are really about this 25% of the forest that's being cut, right?
No, this is the 75% piece. That's the corporation.
This is the 75%
Right,
piece.
right.
Okay.
The investment program is that 25% piece
okay.
that we were talking about earlier, that will perpetuate out to a net projected return of about $285,519, right?
When we talk about 25% and 75%, we're talking about the number of trees or acreage.
Acreage.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So
Okay.
out of the 1,100 acres, 75% of the property, or the 1,100 acres, is dedicated towards the reforestation of the koa trees, not to be cut.
I see.
The
Okay.
25% is the investment program, tree program, where it will be harvested and cut. And earlier I mentioned to you that with the sandalwood trees, we are interfacing sandalwood trees with the koa trees because they are symbiotic in their relationship. Koa is nitrogen fixing, sandalwood is nitrogen taking or absorbing.
So you basically have a mixed forest of two major species.
Yes, but primarily koa
Okay.
at this time, because we've only put in 4,000 trees at this time. right?
Koa, naturally, does it grow as a single species forest, or does it mix with the other species in the forest?
The only, as mentioned, the sandalwood probably is the most symbiotic, and that's where we felt that we wanted to interface the koa with the sandalwood, alongside with us wanting to reforest with sandalwood because of its history and its notoriety throughout the world.
I guess what I'm wondering is, when we talk about koa, when we talk about sandalwood, they have their kind of a natural native environment. When the trees were growing, was it growing in certain kind of forest, part of the forest, right? And I just wonder whether you have any plans to bring the whole forest back, not just these two species back.
Very good question. The owners are also looking at planting mamani as well as ohia, coffee as
Okay.
well. I think I mentioned to you before we came on the set that we also are doing honeybee hives. And we're looking and projecting to receive about, or to put in about 50 honeybee hives by year end. And so we are deriving the honey, and JTB, Japan Travel Bureau, is taking these honeys and providing it for their customers as well. So we're taking these byproducts, as mentioned, like with the sandalwood nuts, and we're also sustaining Hawaii and the population.
You mentioned earlier that with the sandalwood, you're not cutting the trees, you're using the nut.
That's correct.
What would the nut be used for?
Well, and again, the owner probably could share more of what his plans are for the nuts. Well, maybe we can, talk to him for the future. And there's things that he wants to hold off until he's got things in place before he discloses what he wants to do with all this.
Understand. So the history of your corporation is 4 years. And,
little over 4 years, yes. 4
and
years,
it's
5
already
months.
growing. It's already is reaching out to a lot of people. This is very impressive.
It is impressive, and it's mind-blowing when you as well take a tour yourself. We offer eco tours. In fact, we have a 1.5-hour tour, and we also have a 3-hour tour. We've just brought on the Norwegian Cruise Line, so when they come to Hilo, they're going to be sending their guests and passengers up to the Legacy Forest. And what we're trying to do is get the tourists as well involved and attached to the Aina and attached to Hawaii. So now they can keep coming back and visiting their trees. And we've had people that have come up, brought ashes, in fact, of their loved ones, and had mixed it in the planting of their tree, because you get to plant your own tree. And when they've come back down and met with the staff, they told us, thank you for allowing it to hurt less. And
That's
that was
interesting.
something very special that we, had seen through hosting these various eco tours. And the eco tours we do charge, so it's something that you can go onto our website as well, or give us a call directly as well.
Tell us your website.
It's www.HawaiianLegacyHardwoods.com.
It's easy. Hawaiian Legacy Hardwoods.
.com, or www.HawaiianLegacyForest.com.
Okay, that's good.
So either the two.
So 2 minutes left over here. I understand you made a trip to China,
Yes.
and it was that part of trying to expand, kind of export this model to other parts of the world.
Yeah, that's a very good question. A nice way to end this discussion. It was in November. I joined an organization here, the association called Hong Kong Business Association, and we were actually going up to. We were at Hong Kong, Shenzhen, Guangdong, Zhongshan, and also Guangzhou. We were up there primarily to go to the forum conference that was being held there, and it was an international conference. But alongside with that, we were set up with various private equity groups, city officials, business people. And the reason why I wanted to participate in this, and again, the directors did a fabulous job, Barina Poon and Biling Chua, in putting us in front of people that would be very interested in what all of us are bringing to China. So there were about 19 of us from all different disciplines and professions. And I did want to develop this liaison or bridge between Hong Kong, China, and Hawaii, and getting them invested in such valuable resources as our timber and lumber. As I mentioned to you, China does at this time take over 50% of the timber and lumber, so they could identify with this very valuable resource. And they are becoming extremely conscientious and concerned about their environment. And when they know the environmental benefits and solutions to reforestation, I would hope that they would see our investment a very valuable one and a lucrative one to get involved in.
Well, that's great, and best of luck with all your endeavors.
Thank you.
It's good for your investment and good for the environment, and bring back
Thank you.
Hawaii's legacy trees. We have to wrap up here, and we've been speaking with Mr. Randall Mau, Director of Corporate and Environmental Development at Hawaiian Legacy Hardwoods, talking about their effort to bring back the koa and sandalwood and other legacy trees to the Hawaii's environment. I want to thank you so much, Randy, for being here.
Thank you very much.
And
Enjoyed it.
Thank you, the viewers, for joining us. I also want to thank our production team over here, the Communications Director, Chrissy Golfican, our production manager, Ian Davison, and also, of course, our producer, Jay Fidel. And I'll see you next Tuesday at ThinkTech Asia. Thank you and goodbye.